In the big 2025, bro, this is what we're doing.
Why not?
It's supposed to be a futuristic Summa. I didn't sign up for this.
Welcome to our official album review for Metro Boomin's new mixtape, A Futuristic Summer. This was highly anticipated from the community because this is his first solo project since Heroes and Villains back in 2022. So, Lou, when I saw this announcement, it was interesting because I thought, okay, he's probably going to go into a different direction with this when it came to Heroes and Villains, and Not All Heroes Wear Capes. Those were very cinematic and they were huge, but this was a completely different experience. And guys, if you want to witness our first live album reaction to this new mixtape, you guys can visit the pinned comment. It was a great time. The live stream was crazy, and it was interesting for me to see how he attacked this album for the first time. And honestly, with more and more listens, I'm starting to enjoy it. So let's go into the artist performance. Lou, what did you like? What didn't you like? And how do you feel about it as a whole?
Yeah, I think more than anything, it was just cool to see Metro Boomin make a regional sounding album. Like, we've seen other artists do this in recent time, right? You had Kendrick Lamar with GNX, and that was very much on the California hyphy G-Funk sound. You had Denzel Curry do it with Kings of the Mischievous South, going back to that old Memphis sound that was very hardcore and aggressive. And now
Florida sounds as
Metro
well
Boomin's doing it with futuristic swag. And I think that he really made sure to enlist a roster of artists that were going to be able to play into that world. Some that are actually some of the pioneers of that subgenre, and some newcomers as well, ranging from Gucci Mane, Travis Porter, Roscoe Dash, 21 Savage, Future, Lil Baby, newcomers like YK Nice, Bunna B, and many more. Over 20 different artists on here, so kind of tough to know where to begin. But I want to start talking about Quavo, because Quavo surprisingly had some of the most performances on the entire album. He was listed on 4 different songs.
4 placements.
When you look at the first one, Butterflies, pretty standard, more of a relaxed flow from Quavo.
Something you might have seen off of like a Culture 2 performance.
Yeah,
that's the way that I kind of felt
nothing
about
too
it.
memorable or distinct about it. Then you go on Take Me Through there, where the verse is kind of 50% ad-libs. Was kind of a throwaway for me.
I didn't like his vocals actually on this track.
Me Through there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you noticed that. I didn't like his vocals on this. And I mean, listen, some people might argue that it's a standard Quavo performance, but I agree with you. Like, especially when you have that many ad libs, like, you got to do something more than that. At least in my opinion. Then after that, I believe he had another feature.
Drip Barbecue.
It was on Drip Barbecue.
That was fire because he was going back and forth with J Money, and he had this jumpy flow, and he enunciated every word. That was his best performance.
I will say this as well. When it comes to that performance, I think that's maybe one of the best displays of chemistry on this album. That's something that I did note down. I think Quavo was a good addition to this project overall. I mean, he plays perfectly into this aesthetic. Not only is he someone that really also, played into this futuristic swag lane that Atlanta was so known for in, the late 2000s, early 2010s, I feel like it really made sense for him to be on this track list, especially knowing that him and Metro Boomin made so many wonderful placements before that. Who else do you want to talk about, man? Like you said, there's 20 different artists, so it's going to be hard to give you guys an analysis extensively on every single one. But, I mean, we could talk about J Money on I Want It All. How about that?
Yeah,
would you like to go there?
Let's talk about that. He opens up the album, has a lot of auto-tune, and the inflections are light, they're melodic, they're youthful. The hook is low-key catchy, even if, like, I don't love just the way his vocals sound. I don't think they're the cleanest sounding vocals.
But that's what I'm trying to say, though, is especially like in that old mixtape era and like when these projects were getting released in Atlanta back then, I remember at least listening to a couple of them when I was younger, and they did have a dirtier sound. They weren't polished studio albums.
For sure.
So I feel like, especially with all of the artist performances and the vocal mixing, it's hard for me to knock that, considering like that's what the truest form was when they were being released.
I get you, but it's like if you're gonna hit some melodies and you're gonna try to hit some high notes, like you have to execute on that.
No, of course,
and
like
I mean?
it's not. I'm not expecting Adele level performances,
No,
but for
obviously
example,
not.
another J Money hook that was really good was on I Go. I really, really enjoyed that hook. I enjoyed the flows on that song. I felt like he was one of the strongest parts of this album when it came to performances as well. With I Want It All and I Go, that was a really nice surprise for me, at least on this track list.
Let's talk about Young Dro, who is maybe the MVP of this album. He's on 6 different songs. He might be the most credited rapper on this entire thing.
What's his best performance?
For me, it's really tough. One of the ones that was a highlight for me was They Wanna Have Fun, where he out-raps Gucci Mane, out-raps everybody on there, and hits this crazy triplet flow like halfway through his verse. That was incredible to me. What about you for his best?
He has a crazy hook on Stealing All the Swag. That hook.
That was cool.
I fucking love that performance. I felt like it had such a great earworm. The flows were catchy. That's another thing that I like about this album is all the type of different hooks that were implemented within the album. I felt like that was maybe a strong point of this artist's performance, at least for me.
Some hit, some didn't. I remember listening to this album for like the 5th time, and I'm like, just based on these hooks and these artist performances, I don't know if I could see any of these songs becoming hits. Like maybe Butterflies.
No, but it's not. It's not for that. Like it's a regional sounding mixtape.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
I don't think you could look at it that as that was the thing for me too going into this album.
What I'm saying is that if you're able to catch an earworm with a hook, you could have a hit on your hands. I don't know if this album has enough of a catchy hook to reach the masses. But
even Travis Porter on "They Want to Have Fun" as well. Like he had a wonderful performance.
That was terrible, bro.
You didn't like that.
The whole Cyndi Lauper flip. Like
yeah, it was sick. I thought, like also
girls, they want to have fun.
It's fire. I could see that going crazy at a party.
Terrible melody.
I was whipping to that all weekend, and I fucked with it.
I like that song. The hook is what. Like, oftentimes, the hook is what actually brings the
have
song.
some fun, bro.
I was having fun with some of the album.
With some of this.
But I gotta be real at the same time, right?
Meanie and Schoolie on "Don't Stop Dancing." I like the chemistry there, the back and forth on that hook as well. That was just something that I picked up overall. But let's talk about Lil Baby. Lil Baby had prominency on this track list. 2 different placements, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 3, yeah.
Which ones were they exactly?
So he had "Don't Stop Dancing." He had Jerry Curry and "I Need." Obviously, on "Don't Stop Dancing," he goes into his melodic bag, and the melodies don't stick. He struggles to hit the high notes that he attempts, and it just feels like a wasted slot on the mixtape. And unfortunately, Lil Baby did not beat the washed allegations with his performances here. Even looking at something like "I Need," very short verse, feels useless. Even looking at Jerry Curry, he sounds lifeless on that song. He sounds like he doesn't even want to be in the booth, bro. That's how I felt about it. I don't know if you felt differently, but to me, he didn't hit a single time.
even on "Don't Stop Dancing," like you were saying, that was just a short-lived performance. So even if you do want to look at it and, like, I guess, grade it for the sake of this review, what do you want me to look at? Maybe the 6 to 8 lines that he contributed to that record. And then when you look at the rest of the performances, like you were saying, I mean, not only have I gotten this Lil Baby, I mean, for the past, like, maybe 4 years, since it's only me, but like you said, it's just a waste of a feature slot. Maybe even introduce me to a new artist from ATL that could probably get some shine on this. But do you want to talk about Future on this? That's another big name on this list. People were like, listen, I love this duo. I'm really down for this collaboration, but what could they possibly top from what they have already given me? Plus what happened just last year. Did you feel like that going into that feature where it's like, bro, I have like 25 songs at this point?
I didn't feel that way just because looking at like all 3 tapes, well, it was mostly the 2 albums together. I don't think Metro was really on Mixtape Pluto. But
yeah, like 1 placement, I think.
That's it. So looking at those 2 albums, there were like bangers on both of those. So I'm like, yeah, maybe they could run it back, bro. Like they're hot right now together, right? But this song, "Partying and Dancing," was the biggest disappointment to me on the entire album. How do we get a roster of Waka Flocka Flame, 21 Savage, Future, and they go soft? They go gooey on this song? Why, bro? This had to be a fucking banger. This had to be a trunk rattler. And that's not what we got. From the moment that I heard Future's quiet harmonizing, bro, I knew it was finished.
Yeah, once you heard the humming, it was GG's.
I knew it was over.
And like you said, that's a waste of opportunity, because if you look at these guys and on this record, the type of things that they could do could be absolutely ridiculous. Like, one beat that I really like, and I'm going to speak about it a lot more in the production, and I'm going to try to like relate it back to this. It was the Zaytoven beat. Which one was that with the piano riff? I think you have it in your notes.
I think that was probably, let me see here. I think that was "Make It Make Sense."
It was, yeah, "Make It Make Sense." Exactly. Like, you get those guys on that type of dark production with those types of keys. And not only that, but why is Waka Flocka on the hook on this?
He's on a lot of hooks, though. And I don't mind Waka's hooks.
No, but this one's like you said, it's a melodic hook from Waka Flocka Flame. I'm like,
yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, why not?
But he wasn't the issue. For me, it was like Future's voice that got really freaky at a point. That was
we've seen that so many different times.
No, this was a different level of freaky, bro.
You've seen this on Hendrix.
This was that pillow talk Future, bro.
No, yes, exactly. It was
different, bro. This time it got freakier. Like, he brought it up an octave and it was different, bro. I don't know what he did.
No, listen, but the verse did feel like something you'd find off of Hendrix.
I guess, bro. It was
just
bottom
like
of the barrel,
Future.
I guess. 21 Savage felt like he was just talking, no rhythm behind his performance at all. I want to talk about T.I. because that was a big topic of conversation. He's on You Deserve, and he's dropping some sexy talk and trying to sound charismatic and has these slow-moving patterns, and they weren't hitting for me, bro, at all.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like let's get you on here, you know?
And then Roscoe Dash delivers the same hook, and he kills it.
Absolutely, but that
it's a mix. This artist performance is a fucking mixed bag.
That's the way that I kind of feel about it. But looking overall, there's a lot of performances that I do like. There's ones that I feel like are lackluster, but there's truly maybe only 1 or 2 performances on this album that I truly don't fuck with. And out of 24, it's a pretty good ratio. I gave it a good rating overall for the artist performance. I thought you got solid ones. There was people that showed out here. I gave it points for also being a well-curated feature list. Maybe you could argue that certain features weren't used, let's say, in the proper places, or should I say the main artist. But overall, this does feel like an authentic, futuristic swag, like casted performance of people that could come in and do a good job. So that's why I gave it some extra points on that rating.
I have it as a mid rating. To me, there are catchy hooks on here. There are cool verses, but they come only occasionally. And when I really think about just what's at stake here, this is supposed to be a very collaborative feeling album. You're getting a bunch of artists on the same songs, and the chemistry didn't feel like it was off the charts on the majority of these songs. And ultimately, I just feel like even looking at especially the cast of familiar artists that we have, no one really brought their A game. Besides a Waka Flocka Flame or maybe a Young Dro. I feel like those two
J Money
were
was
the
great
MVPs.
on this. No, J Money was good on this. I also
he had his moments.
Roscoe Dash was good on this
had
as
his
well.
moments too, yeah.
But I'm just saying, to say that no one really showed out, I'm not sure.
I didn't say nobody. I said only a couple people brought their A game. That's what I said.
Anyway, so let's go into the production side of things. Let's actually talk about Metro Boomin. This sound is heavily inspired, like I said, over this futuristic swag sort of aesthetic that's going on for the entire track list. You're getting loud, noisy drums. You're getting a lot of flute loops. You're getting these futuristic synths that are sounding like they're coming straight out of a 2006 mixtape. I'm very impressed, though, with the production and how he was able to replicate it so well. I'm
not that impressed.
I don't think it's too challenging for him. But at the end of the day, I feel like he did what he had to do for this type of mixtape and what he needed to produce for this track list.
Yeah, so obviously executive producer here, but did enlist the help of other producers. I think that's something interesting to point out is that you are getting beats that were co-produced by Zaytoven. You are getting beats that were co-produced by Bobby Critical, yeah. DJ Plug.
Maybe they just did an update in time. Probably comes out at a certain point.
What do you mean? Because you're saying for you didn't see the names?
For my for my placements, but I'm asking you. You said that the placements and the credits are not out yet, right?
No, they are out. Yeah,
okay.
No,
then I'm confused.
I'm just saying that he didn't produce everything on his own.
No. Oh, okay.
I wanted to mention everyone else that had production credits.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Anyways, no, I mentioned that other people were on the production, but I think what's interesting about what Metro does here in comparison to his other albums is that he's trading in the minor scale for the major scale, from going with his usual ominous dark sound to going with a more upbeat, uplifting, bright, jolly sound. I thought that was the biggest contrast. Obviously, the beats are composed of a lot of different elements. You have the guitar that was used quite a bit, the heavy percussion, the flutes, the keys. I did appreciate some song-by-song sequencing, but ultimately for me, I just feel like for a 24-song album, there needed to be some sonic variety. Even if he's trying to stick to a certain subgenre, I just feel like you do have those occasional moments, like a Make It Make Sense, where you're getting these ominous keys and you're getting more of a darker sound. I feel like he needed more change-ups throughout the album for it to be an experience that didn't feel like, again, every single beat is by the numbers. So that's how I felt about it in general.
But do you feel like that's virtue of the tracklist length, or do you look at, let's say, every single beat individually and say, these are some pretty stupid beats?
There are some really bad beats on here, for sure, yeah.
Which ones would you say are bad? Okay, let's go through this. Okay, I want to hear your takes. What do you got?
Loose Screws, those xylophone sounding keys and the high-pitched synth line, bro, it just sounded like some Nickelodeon theme song. That was a really bad one. Also, Stealing All the Swag. That sounded like me and you playing the recorder in the second grade, bro. And it just being looped.
I like
that was literally a recorder.
What is it? It's the
driven.
flute that you don't fuck with?
It's the recorder, bro. It just sounded so cheap. It sounded like a YouTube looped recorder that I played in my music class.
No, it's fire. It feels like I'm fucking playing Zelda whenever I listen to that beat. That's the way that I feel about it.
Sure,
and you see how influential that production was to, let's say, even trap music that we're getting now that of course, back in like 2017, 2018, you saw Murder Beats using those types of flutes. Like, I'm just saying, I found it fire. Like, I had no problem with that. Even I Go has a crazy flute loop. Like, that flute on I Go has a crazy, crazy loop on it.
It was all right, yeah.
You didn't fuck with it?
Not really. You get some more goofy flutes coming in to ruin Birthday, that beat. And it just, another thing too, Don't Stop Dancing. I feel like that was supposed to be like a party club song, and there's not a single danceable groove throughout that entire production for me. The beat on Drip Barbecue goes crazy though. I like the triumphant sound that one had, the way the horns and the drums come in and out of the mix. That was really fire.
I like the horns on Birthday. The horns on Birthday were super sick. Getting then that flute that comes in.
You like the flute on that song?
It's cool. And to me, like, they're not necessarily too different from each other, at least for like all of the beats that have those types of flutes,
it's a rinse and repeat formula. I think that's what got exhausting as a listener. Like, listening to this album front to back, I'm like, there could have been more diversity.
They were obviously using different flute samples for like, or even instruments, let's say on FL Studio, to be able to like get their shit done.
For sure, but it's the formula that stayed virtually the same for 24 songs.
I get what you're saying, but that's what I'm saying though, is that, are you looking at it individually or are you looking at it as a whole? Because
both.
I don't know.
I'm looking at both.
Like, how could you really get that diverse with a Futuristic Swag mixtape, bro?
He did it in different instances, right? Like I was mentioning,
bro, it's not a
songs
solo
like
album.
Make It Make Sense. Where again, you have those Beethoven keys that sound like they were taken right out of a Halloween movie. Like, at least that was a cool switch up. Also, a song like Clap, getting those powerful drums and those claps.
Or something like Butterfly.
That was diverse.
Butterflies had a diverse production.
Yes, you have the Atlanta bass sound, which was fire.
And those dance grooves
kind of reminded you of Nokia.
No, that was different.
No. I know.
Oh, yes.
Butterflies
never mind. Yes,
definitely sounds like Nokia in production. But anyways, point being, I like what he did in terms of certain productions. I like that he did capture the sound of the Futuristic Swag era and 2000s, early 2010s Atlanta. But again, I just feel like there needed to be more variety. I go with a good rating ultimately.
I went with a good rating for the production.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go great. You
I went with a good rating.
Like, blown away by it when we started talking.
I see it for what it is though.
Yeah.
Like, I think he did a really good job at producing a Futuristic Swag mixtape. Like, I don't think you can do much more than that. What the fuck do you want to add to that production?
Cut it, bro. It's a bloated album.
But that's what I'm saying. Then you're not looking at the production.
But I am, because there's some flutes that sound like they're from the Bikini Bottom, bro. I'm sorry.
No way.
Some of the flute choices were terrible.
Crazy statements. This is a Metro Boomin produced mixtape.
So what?
Those flutes. No, bro.
Because it's Metro, the flutes are approved automatically.
But the guy's obviously not fucking sampling or using cheap FL Studio plugins.
They sound like it to me, bro.
But these just sound like authentic sounds from those mixtapes that were released in 2006. I think he did a good job at recreating that feeling. Anyways,
let's talk about the content now.
I don't even know why we're doing this fucking subject.
Well, we have to do it with every project, but we're not gonna like pick and choose. Oh, well, this album doesn't have a lot of good subject matter. We're gonna like remove it. No,
I know you can't, but it's like, how do you go
go
through this album looking for the content?
Well, it's gonna come down to this, right? When you look at like your overall score and how most people feel about the album, they're not gonna look at the subject matter and be like, oh, well, because there's bad writing, fuck this album. But it's still something to talk about, right? So when it comes down to it, when you look at even artists from around that time, the Shawty Lows, the Soulja Boys, they didn't really have much to say. They were swagging out, they were bragging, they were flexing, they were talking about relationships with women. Like, that's what you have to go into this mixtape expecting, and that is what you're getting, right? Lyrics revolving around charm, confidence, being the coolest guy in the room. And every artist on here plays into those genre tropes, obviously. When it comes down to it, if you did come here for bars, you came to the wrong place. If you came here for artists to get personal, you came to the wrong mixtape. If you came for the vibes and just to chill out and really have style over substance, then you're in the right place. But I do have standout bars. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to...
No.
You have nothing to say about this category?
Like I said, like, I'm telling you, I didn't pull up Genius to listen to this album. I didn't do that to myself.
It's not about pulling up Genius. It's still, again, it's part of the project.
But I'm just saying,
how many trap albums wait, hold on.
Okay.
How many trap albums have we reviewed where not much is being said, and we included
But
it
I
as
agree. I think
you got to
we
talk
should.
about the songwriting in any album that has songwriting.
I understand, but like, you know what you're going to get out of this type of project.
For sure, as I
you're
said.
going to get women, cars,
That's
gang
what I said.
culture in Atlanta, and like you said, putting on fire clothes and like house parties in ATL.
For sure.
And I think regardless if you want to bring up like certain bars, like, you know what you're coming to this project for at the end of the day. And to be honest with you guys, even if I gave this score a bad rating, which I didn't, like it wouldn't affect my overall score all that much.
Same for me.
With that being said, like especially for an album like this,
For
you're
sure.
not coming here for this.
Some funny lyrics on here. Okay, this bitch so bad she could reproduce my child. I was schooly. Then you have drank in her pussy like rum. That was Shad the God and Loose Screws.
Just go after all
There's
the
some
horny
wild
boys, bro.
ones, bro. But these are the ones that call my attention because there's no other like writing that stands out, right? Shake that. Listen to this one. Shake that ass in the middle of the crowd. Make your mama proud. Make your daddy proud. Waka Flocka on Drip Barbecue. Another one. A lot of ass gonna drop like turds. Roscoe Dash on I Like That. Quavo and Overly Trim. Motorsport. Going horses with a stallion. Rocky Balboa shrimp. Going Italian. I don't know what that one meant, but I'm like, this one stands out. T.I. on You Deserve. And they know I'm gonna put this dick in their life.
I gotta credit you on the journalistic work. I can't believe you brought in a whole document.
My
of these
favorite
bars.
bar though. We came out with the bands and we still hold on. We came out with the bands and we still slam fine shit. Go ask Vince McMahon. It was Young LA on Jerry Curry. That was fire. The Vince McMahon reference, I like that.
So how's this affecting your overall score? And
It's a
thoughts on
bad
the
rating.
album?
It's a bad rating for the
gave it
subject
mid.
matter.
I just gave it mid, like bro, like I'm gonna avoid it. I'm telling you, like I'm not
I mean,
looking
you
at
can't void it, bro. If you're gonna give a rating, make it be like what you think it deserves to be rated. You know, like,
for what it actually is.
Yeah.
Probably give it a good rating then. I
Okay,
think if like
sure.
for this type of mixtape and this type of era, I'm telling you, bro, like coming into this album, this is definitely not something I focused on. And going through it, yes, you do have catchy hooks and shit like that, but this album for me is really driven by Metro's vintage production and also all of the artist performance and flows and cadences that I'm getting. Like,
oh, for sure. It's what you
regardless of the
had to
raunchy
expect
lyrics
from the beginning. It's
for
like
sure.
again when you go back to real futuristic swag from the late 2000s and shit, like. You never had good subject matter to begin with. It's not what you went to the music
it was
for.
just like it was like raunchy party lyrics that like
For sure.
everyone was able to relate to, right? So
Yeah.
for me,
Still
like
a bad rating regardless. Like it's not well written. Like again, maybe it's an effect of the subgenre it's in, bro. But it's not good writing. What are you gonna tell you? You want to give it a good rating, bro? That ass is gonna drop like turds. If that's good writing, bro, fuck it.
Dude, I'm just telling you, like this is like just the most nonchalant category of this fucking mixtape. Anyways, let's
keep going.
let's keep
Get
going
the
with
fuck
this.
out of here. Let's get out of this category, bro. We
The
spent too
replay
much time
value.
already.
Okay, what's the replay value, bro? What do you got, man? You're not
Yeah,
picking this back up,
obviously this is an outdated sound that
That's how it
Metro
starts.
Metro wanted to bring back, and I don't think that this is the peak version of that sound. I think that you've gotten better futuristic swag music in the past. This is not gonna really enter my rotation and replace great music from again Soulja Boy or Waka Flocka with Flockavelli. Looking at old D Pharrell, like there's
That's not
other
even-
artists
that's not a
that
futuristic swag album. bro.
no, but it's like there's more than just futuristic swag that's part of this. Like Waka Flocka sound from Flockavelli makes its way here with just the energetic ad-libs, etc. That being said, I'm taking out maybe 8 songs out of 24
That's
that I could
pretty
see
solid,
myself
though.
playing
Hey,
back.
fuck that.
It's
Yeah,
less than half.
At
It's why
at least you're
uh,
coming back to it. I fuck with
It's
that.
a mid rating. It's a mid rating for the replay value.
That's not bad. Okay, what are you taking though? What do you got?
I'm taking Clap. I'm taking Slide. I'm taking Drip Barbecue. I'm taking Stealing All the Swag.
yeah, you like drip barbecue like that?
I do fuck with it, yeah. I'm taking I Go. They Want to Have Fun and Make It Make Sense. Those are the ones for me.
W. Nice selections.
What do you got?
I want it all, bro. I
Okay.
fucking love that song. They want to have fun. I'm going
Little
back
Einstein's ass on.
to Butterflies. I'm going through. Then after that, I'm gonna do Stealing All the Swag. Then I'm doing What the Fuck Going. Then I'm doing It's a Party, Keeping Clap. I'm keeping Slide. And then I think it's gonna have to probably end there. No, Make It Make Sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'm keeping about half of the album, more or less. I'd say like that I'm gonna be really revisiting probably half of the mixtape.
That's pretty
overall.
good. 12 out of 24.
It's not that bad. Well, no, it's maybe around like the 9 to 10 range, but we'll see. Like this is not a mixtape that I'm gonna start from
No.
number 1
no
all the
way.
way down to 24. It's over an hour long, and a lot of those mixtapes too back then, dude. Some of them were fucking double disc. Some of them released with like 35 songs. So I understood the curation play with trying to get this up to like the mid-20s, but nonetheless, it does kill a bit of the replay value for me when it comes to me and my interest in this new Metro sound. I mean, I can't even call it new because it was done before, but I fuck with it, right? Regional sound is back, like Lou was saying. I think it was a cool direction for him to go into, and I didn't come into this experience, at least for myself, expecting another heroes and villains, so I'm going to return to this sound. I'm down for it. I think there's fun vibes for the rest of the summer, and then I think I'm just going to go back to my regular material with Metro. With that being said, all of that considered, give it a good rating. Half of the track list.
Okay. Yeah, I have it
I'll
as
keep
mid.
it
Overall thoughts on this album.
Okay, so let me ask you this: do you think it was the right move for Metro this year to drop this?
I think it was cool. I think it was a cool move. I respect it for what it was. I think that ultimately Metro Boomin didn't make this album or this mixtape for the masses. Like, this album is not really for you if you didn't grow up listening to this subgenre of music. If you weren't around for like mid 2000s to early 2010s Atlanta hip hop, looking at snap music, ringtone music, the crunk era, like if you weren't part of the futuristic swag, all these different subgenres that kind of have roles to play in this album, you're probably not gonna fuck with this. So I like the bold move of like, I'm making this for Atlanta. I'm not making this for everyone else, especially when he's in a position where he could have just made another Heroes and Villains and made way more money, gotten way more streams.
Let me ask you this: does now getting this, does it create more excitement for what's going to come with his next like serious studio album, where like this is going to be probably the third piece to what I've been building this whole time?
I don't think it's changed my expectations whatsoever.
Okay.
Like, this is just a detour at the end of the day. Like, we know that.
No, but I'm saying, are you more hyped now? Are you hungry for that type of new sound from Metro?
Hasn't changed much for me. What
Okay.
about you? It got
I'm
you
down.
more excited?
It got me more excited
cool.
because I have so much fun with Metro's music. I end up bumping it a lot, especially when it drops like within the set period of the year. So it gets me excited for what's to move forward with. I'm happy that he did this because Atlanta deserves it. I mean, they've been putting in so much work for so many different years, and if you're from ATL, you're absolutely happy with this. He's a legend in that city, and I mean, this is a legendary sound for him to attack. Like I said, I mean, when you want to look at it really like technically though and go into the mixtape, there's definitely flaws here. There's performances that hit. There's ones that don't. I found the mainstream features were a bit lackluster, while a lot of, let's say, not underground, but guys that are definitely not in the future of not on the level of a Future or 21, they did their thing on this, like a J Money, for example, or even a Roscoe. I like those features, but overall, I'm gonna give it a good rating. I thought it was a good effort.
Yeah, listen, I think that what I will say that's positive is that there is like a carefree spirit and like a feeling of just like childlike innocence that a lot of the artists embody on this album, and it's felt through the music. It's very contagious, and you're bound to have some fun with quite a few songs on here. The beats are bright and jolly, the artists sound animated. Like, you are bound to have a good time with some of this mixtape. That being said, to me, it's the ratio of the fact that there's not many good songs in here. The ratio of good to bad songs or mediocre songs, it's more on the negative side than the positive side for me here. And I think that a lot of this comes down to poor curation from Metro Boomin. Like we were saying, having 21 Savage on a melodic song when he could be on a song with Rocco, giving you more of like a haunting, hard-hitting, cutthroat kind of performance, that would have been more up to what he's known to be doing well, play to the artist's strengths. I also feel like some of the production choices were a bit forced, having guitar licks coming in where they didn't need it to be. And ultimately, it's just very bloated, bro. I think that he could have cut this track list at least by half. And listen, when I was growing up listening to hip-hop, some of this music did come into my rotation. I was never really big into futuristic swag or ringtone music or snap music, any of those subgenres. So if you're like me and you were never into this genre, this won't be for you.
I was listening to this.
It's not going to
I was
convert
listening to this
you.
when I was like 8, 9 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I was like pirating this music, bro, like low key.
Yeah. So, but to me, this is Metro's worst project to date. I'm going to give it a mid rating finally.
That's fair.
That's what it is.
I mean, it's that sort of thing of, if you're into this sound, you're into it. If you're not, then it's just it's not up your alley, and I understand where you're coming from.
It's not just that, though. I will say I do enjoy like some old Soulja Boy. I will enjoy.
Yes, but that mixed with the other factors that
sure.
you said, I guess that's why it brings it down to a mid rating. For myself, a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, let us know, where did we get it right? Where did we get it wrong? What is your favorite song off of this mixtape? Guys, thank you so much for watching this, and hit the subscribe button if this is the first time that you're watching NFR podcast. Thank you so much for watching this, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.